Let us start with the unit 2 or the lesson 2. So lesson 2 அப்படின்னு சொல்றது we are taking it as current electricity. In the previous lesson, we have studied about the behavior of electrical charges at rest. So in this lesson, we are going to study about the behavior of electrical charges in motion. Behavior of electrical charges in motion. So the behavior of electrical charges in motion leads to the topic called to be current electricity or electrical current. So we can say the motion of electric charges, the motion of electric charges, or we can take like this, the flow of electrical charges, the motion of electrical charges or the flow of electrical charges in a conductor, that we are taking or considering it as electrical current. So under this topic, we are going to study about the flow of electrical charges or the motion of electrical charges in a conductor. Repeat பண்றேன். See, when you are considering electrical current, in order to study about this electrical current, I am considering a solid matter. See, in that solid matter, I am taking an example that is conductor. See, when you are taking matter அப்படின்னு சொல்லும் பொழுது, you are taking in all matters, atoms are considered to be the building blocks. When I am considering an atom, that atom is available innumerable in case of an conductor. But when I am considering a conductor, when I am considering an atom in the conductor, that atom consists of nucleus and electrons. When you are taking the electrons can be broadly classified into two as bound electrons and non-bound electrons. The bound electrons are the one which are bound to the nucleus of the atom, which can't able to move. Another one, there is the electrons which are not bound to the nucleus of the atom, called to be free electrons. See, if you are considering a matter, and in that matter, if you are having large number of free electrons, then the matter is in general called to be a conductor. So we can say the conductors are the substances in which there are more number of free electrons. See, let us consider a conductor. Let us consider a conductor. If you are considering a conductor means, example, you take any metal rod, you just consider any metal rod. See, inside that conductor or inside that metal rod, you are having innumerable number of free electrons. That is the electrons which are not bound to the nucleus of the atom. But when you are considering the free electrons are in random motion. The free electrons are in random motion. See, due to the motion of the electrons, that is due to the motion of the charge, there should be a flow of electrical current. Since the free electrons are moving in random directions, the net flow of electrical charges is zero. The net flow of electrical charges is zero. Why? Because they are in random motion. Since they are in random motion, the effect of one electron cancels the effect of the other. So I am writing the net flow of electrical charges is zero. The net flow of electrical charges is zero means no production of electrical current or no electrical current is available inside the conductor. Or I can say the electrical current in the conductor is equal to zero. Electrical current in the conductor is equal to zero. This is what we are calling it out as in case of a conductor. Hope you should have understood. So you consider a conductor. Let us take a metal rod. Inside that metal rod, you are having innumerable number of free electrons, but all the free electrons are moving in random motion. What do you mean by that? all the free electrons are moving in different directions with the different velocities. That is what we are calling it out as random motion. If so, the effect of one charge or one electron cancels the effect of another electron, and so the net flow of electrical charges in the conductor is equal to zero. The net flow of electrical charges in the conductor is zero, means there is no flow of electrical current, or the flow of electrical current in the conductor becomes zero. See, now you consider that conductor, and the two ends of the conductor is connected to a battery, so that a voltage or a potential difference is developed across the two ends of the conductor. Now, when you are applying a battery or a potential difference across the two ends of the conductor, the free electrons, which are innumerable in number inside the conductor, due to the application of external field, all the free electrons which are moving in random direction are made to move in one particular direction. When all the electrons are made to move in one particular direction, there is a flow of electrical current. That flow of electrical current is in the same direction as that of the applied external electrical field. Or I can say opposite to the direction of what? Opposite to the direction of the electrical field, opposite to the direction of the movement of electrons. So all the electrons will be moving towards the positive charge. But the electrical field is from positive charge to negative charge. So direction of electrical field and the movement direction of the movement of the electrons are opposite. Or I can say the direction of electrical current produced is opposite to the direction of the movement of electrical current. See, in general, I can write like this. In general, the positive charges available in that conductor. So the positive charges always flow from. Positive charges means positive ions available, always flows from the higher potential to lower potential. Higher potential to lower potential. Higher potential is positive, lower potential is negative. And at the same time, if you are considering the negative charges, usually the negative charges are nothing but electrons. They always flow from where to where? From negative terminal to positive terminal. That is from lower potential to. They will be always flowing from lower potential to higher potential. So the positive charges are all one word question. The positive charges are always flowing from higher potential to lower potential, and the negative charges are always flowing from lower potential to a higher potential. See, simply we can say when a battery is connected, okay, when a battery is connected across the ends of the conductor, when a battery is connected across the ends of the conductor, then we are saying that a potential difference is a potential difference, or I can say voltage. A potential difference or a voltage is set up across it or across the conductor. Across the conductor. That was the meaning when you are saying that a battery is connected across the conductor. A definition. So we are going to define electric current. How you can able to define this term called to be electric current? Electrical current in a conductor is defined as rate of flow of electric charges. So electrical current can be defined as, in one word we can say, rate of flow of charges. Rate of flow of charges. If you want to extend, you can write defined as the rate of flow of charges in a conductor. So the definition is, electrical current is defined as the rate of flow of charges in a conductor through a given area of cross section. Through the area of cross section. Area A or area of the cross section of the conductor. See, if you want to extend, we can extend as long as we are in need of. Just in short and sweet, we can write define electrical current. Electrical current is nothing but rate of flow of electrical charges. If it is a rate, you have to divide it with the time. Rate of what? Flow of charges. So I can say flow of charges divided by the time taken is called to be electrical current. So again, I'm going to explain this. So you consider a conductor, and that conductor is having an area A. Let Q be the charge. Let Q be the charge flowing in that conductor, flowing in a conductor in a time of, okay, I am considering in a time of t seconds. So if you are saying that if a charge of Q coulombs flowing through a conductor in a time of t seconds, then the current available or the current in the conductor is the current developed in the conductor. Okay, the current developed is current I is equal to, see, rate of flow. Rate of flow is time taken as t. What is the amount of charge flow? Amount of charge flown is considered to be Q. So I can write the total charge available or total current available I is equal to Q by T. See, this equation holds good only when the charge Q is constant. But we can say the charge Q, the charge that is flowing, is not constant. The charge that is flowing is not constant. So what I am going to consider then, I am going to consider in general like this. In general, if dq is small amount of charge, dq is the charge in a time of dt seconds, then the current I is equal to dq divided by dt. This we are writing it out as rate of flow of charges, or I can say like this, change in charge divided by the change in time taken. So this we are considering it in general. See, from this I can consider instantaneous current. What is that instantaneous current? If the current is flowing in a conductor at a given instant of time, at 1 second, or at this particular time, what is the value of current? So what is the instantaneous current? Usually written as small I. But in your book, they have written it as like this, capital I, which is equal to. See, if it is an instantaneous current, then we have to apply a limit to time. Time should get reduced, instantaneous. So when the limit is applied in such a way that when delta t tends to 0, then this can be written as, we can write it out as dq divided by dt. Or in general, change in charge can be written as, instead of delta q, I can write like this, del q divided by del t. So in general, I can write like this. And in this case, if I am applying like this, if delta t tends to 0, if time go on reduces to a very small value reaching towards 0, then the small change in charge by small change in time will be giving you the current called to be instantaneous current. So how to measure this current now? We can measure this current using the unit called to be ampere. So SI unit of current is ampere. You can write like this. What is its symbol? The symbol used for ampere is capital A. Now from this equation, see, we know that the current I is equal to dq divided by dt. I can say the current is measured in terms of the unit ampere, dq measured in terms of the coulomb, dt measured in terms of second. So from this I can say, if 1 coulomb of charge flows in a conductor for a time of 1 second, then the current developed or current flowing in the conductor is considered to be equal to 1 ampere. So from this I can write, if 1 coulomb of charge flows in a conductor for a time of 1 second, then the flow of current in the conductor is 1 ampere. when you are considering this electrical current, the electrical current is a scalar quantity. It is not a vector quantity. It is an scalar quantity. So we are going to define the term called to be electrical current. What is electrical current? Electrical current is defined as the rate of flow of charges. You consider this equation. That is, electrical current is equal to flow of charges divided by time. Rate of, that means you have to divide it with the time. What is that rate for charges? So I am writing flow of charges by time taken is called to be electrical current. So in order to explain this, you consider like this. That is, you consider a conductor. In that conductor, the flow of electrical charges is considered to be Q. And what time that charge is flowing, if you are taking the time for which the charges are flowing in the conductor is as T, then I can say the current developed I is equal to Q divided by T. But when you are considering this Q is not considered to be a constant quantity in a given time T. If it is constant, then this current I is called to be a steady current. But in practice, it won't be available. So what I am considering a change. In general, if I am taking like this, delta Q is the amount of charge flowing in the conductor in a time of delta T, then we can write the equation in terms of like this: current I is equal to d delta Q divided by delta T. That is change in charge divided by change in time. If you want to calculate the current at any instant of time, it is called to be instantaneous current. Instantaneous current usually represented as small I. In your book, they are represented as with capital I. See, instantaneous current will be available when time reduces to 0. So I am applying the limit. Instead of delta T, I am saying limit delta T tends to 0. Then current is this delta Q becomes dQ and delta T becomes dt. So instantaneous current I is limit delta T tends to 0, change in charge dQ by a small change in charge dQ by a small interval of time dt. Now the SI unit of current is ampere. It is represented with the help of a symbol capital A. As we know, current I is equal to dQ by dt. I is measured in terms of ampere. dQ, the change in charge measured in terms of coulomb. Change in time measured in terms of second. So I can say 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. This can be written in words as: if 1 coulomb of charge flows through a conductor in a time of 1 second, then the flow of electrical current in the conductor is equal to 1 ampere. Hope you should have understood this. Let us go for the example problem. You consider the example number 2.1 available in page number 82. Come on, go through the problem. Compute the current in the wire if a charge of 120 coulomb is flowing through a copper wire in 1 minute. So you are asked to calculate the current in the wire I. If a charge of 120 coulomb, so the charge that is flowing is represented as 120 coulomb through a copper wire in a time of 1 minute. So you convert minute to second, you will be getting 60 seconds. For asked to calculate the current I. As I know, current I is equal to Q divided by T. So current I is equal to 120 divided by 60. So current I is equal to 2 ampere. So a simple problem that was being given, it may be asked in an one-word question. So in order to define and derive an expression for drift velocity, I am considering a conductor. See, when I am considering a conductor with no external electrical field is applied, the electrons in the conductor are moving in a random direction with random velocities, colliding with each another as well as with the positive ions in the conductor. Since the electrons are moving in random directions inside the conductor, the effect of one electron cancels the effect of another electron, and therefore the net flow of electrical charges in the conductor is zero. Since the net flow of electrical charges in the conductor is zero, the net flow of electrical current is also zero. There is no flow of electrical current in the conductor when no external electrical field is applied. Now, I am considering, or I am connecting an external source of voltage, or a potential difference is connected across the ends of the conductor. When an potential difference or a voltage is connected across the ends of the conductor, an electrical field is developed inside the conductor from left to right, that is from the positive terminal to negative terminal. When an external electrical field is applied to the conductor, all the electrons inside the conductor are acquiring a force called to be electrical force. As we know, the electrical field is given by E is equal to F by Q. So force experienced on that electron is considered to be E into Q. Q is the charge of the electron. Since the electrons are residing inside the electrical field, the electrons are acquiring the electrical force. Because of that force, the electrons gets accelerated. When the electrons get accelerated, automatically the electrons are moving from one end to other end. So when the electrons are moving towards the positive terminal or opposite to the electrical field, during their motion, they are colliding with the positive ions as well as the electrons or the walls of the conductor inside it. When that electrons are colliding with positive ions and other elements, that electrons are moving in zigzag motion. They are not moving in a particular direction, but they are moving in a zigzag motion. But due to the applied external electrical field, that electrons will try to move slowly towards that of the positively charged terminal. When the electrons are moving towards the positively charged terminal, or when they are moving opposite to that of the electrical field, automatically there is a change in velocity of that electron from its original value. That change in velocity caused on the electron due to the application of the external electrical field is called to be the drift velocity. So I can define drift velocity in such a way that drift velocity is defined as the average velocity acquired by, the average velocity acquired by the electron when an external electrical field is applied to the conductor. So by applying an external electrical field to the conductor, there is a change in the velocity, or there is a drift in the velocity of the electrons moving inside, and that velocity we are calling it out as the drift velocity. See, when there is a change in velocity, that the drift velocity is taking place in a small interval of time called to be mean free time. So how I can able to define that mean free time, otherwise called to be average relaxation time? That mean free time or the average relaxation time is nothing but the average time taken between two successive collisions of the electron inside the conductor with ions. So the average relaxation time, but it is represented in your book as mean free time. That mean free time is represented by the letter tau. That mean free time is nothing but it is the average time taken between two successive collisions with the ions of the electron. This is called to be mean free time. Hope you should have understood the theory, drift velocity. So I am going to obtain expression for drift velocity. See, when you are applying an external electrical field to the conductor, the electrons in the conductor experience a force. So the force experienced by the conductor is given by E into E. Since the charge of the electron is minus E, so I have to write E into minus of E. So the electrical field E is equal to minus of E into small e. Here F is a vector quantity, electrical field E is a vector quantity. But according to Newton's second law, I can say F is equal to ma, mass into acceleration. If it is F vector, then I can write m into a vector. So here I can write, instead of force, I can write m into a vector is equal to minus of E vector into E. So from this equation, I can able to calculate the acceleration. So acceleration is minus of E vector into E divided by m. So I can able to get the acceleration that was being produced on the electron, and the unit for acceleration is meter per second square. But how to calculate drift velocity? See, we know that acceleration is equal to rate of change of velocity, velocity divided by time. So here I can write a vector is equal to drift velocity is v suffix d divided by time. Time taken is the average relaxation time or the mean free time. Therefore, I can get drift velocity v suffix d is equal to, make a cross multiplication, you can able to get a vector into tau. So I can able to get the equation for drift velocity as a vector into tau. What is a vector? Substitute for a vector, substituting for acceleration. I can able to write this equation as Vd vector drift velocity is equal to, instead of a, minus of E vector into E divided by m into tau. So this we are taking it out as the drift velocity. But how I can rearrange this? Drift velocity v suffix d is equal to minus of E tau m. All these are constants. Multiplied it with E vector. I can replace all these constants with a single constant as Vd vector is equal to minus of mu into E vector, where this mu is equal to minus of E into tau divided by m, called to be mobility of the electrons. Mobility of electrons. So from drift velocity, we have gone for another term called to be mobility. So V suffix d is equal to minus of mu into E, where mu equal to minus of E into tau by m, which we are calling it out as mobility of the electrons. See, from this equation, I can define mobility mu equal to minus of V suffix d divided by E. So modulus of V suffix d vector divided by E vector is equal to mu. So when I am taking modulus, I have to leave out this minus. So mobility mu equal to drift velocity V suffix d per unit electrical field. So mobility is now defined as, I can define, mobility is defined as, how I can define? Defined as drift velocity per unit electric field. Per unit electric field. That is called to be mobility. See, when you are considering drift velocity is defined as acceleration into average time. By substituting the value for acceleration, I can able to get the equation for drift velocity as V suffix d is equal to minus of E into E by m into tau. Or by rearranging, I can write drift velocity as minus of E into tau divided by m into E. But E, tau and m are constants. Replacing all these with a single constant, I can write drift velocity is equal to minus of mu into E, where mu is called to be mobility of the electrons in the conductor, which is equal to minus of E into tau by m. So the negative sign indicates that the electrons are moving in a direction opposite to electrical field, or the charge of the electron is negative. Now, how to define this mobility? By taking the modulus, I can write mobility is defined as drift velocity per unit electric field. So, how I can write the unit for drift velocity and mobility? If I am considering SI unit for drift velocity, it is nothing but meter per second. But what is the SI unit for mobility? If you are getting it for mobility, mu, I can write like this. Drift velocity can be written as meter per second. And electrical field can be written as volt per meter. So taking it to the numerator, I can write meter square divided by volt second. Or drift velocity can be represented as meter square per volt per second. This is the unit that was given in your book. Or there is some other unit is also available. See, mu equal to drift velocity is represented as meter per second. Electrical field can be written as Newton per coulomb. So I can write meter coulomb by Newton second. Or drift velocity can also be represented in terms of meter coulomb per Newton per second. This is also taken to be the unit for what? Unit for mobility. Hope you should have understood what I have told now. Hope you should have understood. This is the expression for drift velocity. That is Vd is equal to E into E divided by tau into m. Tau divided by m, or minus of E into tau by m into E. Or this can be written as V suffix d is equal to minus of mu into E, where mu is called to be mobility, and mobility is defined as drift velocity per unit electrical field. And the SI unit for drift velocity is meter per second. And for mobility, I have written two units. One is meter square per volt per second. Another one is meter coulomb per Newton per second. Hope you should have understood this concept, an important concept which can be asked for 3 marks. If it is for 3 marks, either the explanation or the drift velocity. If it is for 5 marks, both the expression as well as the explanation. Take your book, page number 84. You consider page number 84 and example number 2.2. So page number 84, example number 2.2. See, the problem available is page number 86, 84 or 86? I think it is 86, page number 86, not in 84, it is in page number, okay, 84 in your new book. Okay. If an electrical field of magnitude 570 Newton per coulomb is applied to the copper wire, find the acceleration produced by the electron. You see, if an electrical field of magnitude E is given, what is electrical field? It is 570 Newton per coulomb. Then is applied to a copper wire, find the acceleration that was being produced. See, we know the formula, acceleration produced J is equal to E into E divided by M. Isn't it? We have defined. I have written only the magnitude. So acceleration, what is the value of E? E is nothing but charge of the electron, 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. What is M? M is the mass of the electron, 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kilogram. You take this and substitute it here. Therefore, acceleration A is equal to 570 into E, 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19, divided by, what is M? 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kilogram. So you simplify, you will get acceleration in terms of meter per second square. Simplification is left to you. You do the simplification and bring it to the next class when you are coming.